Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX. Welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. I forgot to show the select file screen just to show that once you beat a dungeon, which I did a long time ago, one of those little symbols appear to correspond to the dungeon, and now it's time for Dungeon 2, so we're going to get a second little symbol on our little status, whatever you want to call it, thing, on our file select screen. And it's going to be pretty awesome, but first we're going to break pots, because that's what I do in this game. I break pots a lot. But here we are. It is Dungeon 2, the snow dungeon. I'm gonna go ahead and kill Keys right away. There's some like frozen grass, which I guess is kind of clever, you know. Well, you put in a level of grass, you put frozen grass onto snow level, I guess. I mean, it makes sense. Anyway, this dungeon is all about block puzzles and torch puzzles and bell puzzles and puzzles and puzzles and puzzles and puzzles and puzzles. What's a Zelda dungeon without puzzles? But this will introduce us to probably the main mechanic of this dungeon, which are these bells. Basically, well, first I like to push them into the little indents there, so it'll make a noise, and over here you see a little song you play to open a door, so that's gonna be pretty easy to do with just one bell at the moment. Of course, we're gonna need to get more bells for more complex doors and more complex note patterns, I guess. And also, we're gonna need a certain dungeon item to help us play those later on, as we shall see. But, I mean, that's just the basics for now, so to open up a door, we're gonna go this way for our first basic block puzzle. Basically, we need to use this block as a stepping stone to get from one end of the room to the other. So what we need to do is push it so it's going to be a good stepping stone. And right there is going to be a pretty good stepping stone. So easy to jump over there, and now we're going to head down this way. And down here, we're going to meet a new enemy, and one that's very prevalent in this dungeon. These things, I don't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but they basically shoot rocks, and you can use your tornado to shoot them at things or shoot them at themselves, which is actually the more use of it. You don't really use them otherwise. Besides this, they're just annoying enemies. Hate these things. So as you can see, you can pull their rocks back at them with our handy dandy whirlwind. You kill them. If you do it before they do a rock, you'll just stun them though, which also can be useful. You'll see that actually has a use for it before. And right here we have possibly the most annoying part, but one of the coolest parts of this dungeon. They have some really unique puzzles. You actually have to go use the blocks as like a boat, pretty much. We're using boat blocks. How does a block float? How can this block float? How can Link stay on this block? This doesn't physically make any sense, but I like it anyway. Anyway, we have these enemies. I think they're actually from Twilight Princess, but they're here a lot as well. If you just hit them with their sword, they'll just bounce around and actually probably hit you a few times, so be careful. And I just fall in the water. Expect me to fall in the water a lot in this episode, because of the slippery mechanics and everything. Anyway, as you can see, you can use the whirlwind to basically, you blow in the opposite direction of which you want to go, and you just sort of ride the block, which kind of works. Also, make sure you kill all the enemies in this room, because there is a treasure chest if you do so, I believe. So, that's always a good idea to do that. But there's also a treasure down here. It's just 20 rubies, but you know, every little bit of cash counts. As you can see, there's already a heart container we get for 2,000 rubies, so, you know, we need to stack up as much as possible right now. Anyway, as you can see, if you get too close, they will hide back underwater, which is really annoying. But, it's really hard to fight these guys with the whirlwind, because, really, I was trying to just, show them off without, how to do it without, you know, just reflecting the rocks back at them. Which basically you'd want to stun them, then maneuver your block over to them and hit them with your sword, but it's honestly really hard to pull off. You're really better off just using their projectiles back at them. Which, speaking of that matter, how does one's anatomy cause them to... hey, actually, I hit that with my sword, but how does one's anatomy allow you to spit out spiky balls without, like, tearing your throat apart? Like, imagine if you just had the ability to spit out spiky balls. You'd be like, pooh! And spiky balls would come out. That's just kind of crazy. Anyway, we see a lot of treasures in here. Treasures are always good. Soon enough, we will have a use for them, but you'll see that later. Anyway, we have ice keys. So like the ice choo-choos, you gotta blow them first so they aren't covered with ice, because then you'll die. Like that, you'll get frozen. And if you get frozen, I'm not sure if this is the first time I've shown being frozen or not, but you can use the style's rub link, yes. Really fast back and forth to warm him up, and he'll be free of the ice, and you'll be good to go. So, that's that for this room. And like the other, hey, there's a stamp station right there. But like the other dungeon, and like most dungeons, you actually get the dungeon item pretty early. And this is the boomerang, and this will be the source of our puzzle enjoyment for the rest of the dungeon. So basically, the cool thing about the boomerang in this game and Phantom Hourglass is it doesn't have any set pattern. You actually can draw the pattern it'll go, and it will follow that pattern disregarding if it hits any walls. If it hits any walls, it will stop and go back, which can be rather unfortunate because lots of times I accidentally hit walls and drive my path without realizing it, and then it just doesn't work, and you're like, blah. But anyway, we're back up here. There's a new bell, and there's a new note pattern. As you can see, it's low, high, high, low. Now, this is the high bell, the one that we have, or it's medium, technically. So you can do that. Also, yes, it's dead. You can use the boomerang to obviously hit enemies. It'll stun most of them, but stuff like Keith will actually get killed instantly. And you can kind of tell, it'll be more apparent later, but as you can see, the boomerang also catches on ice, I guess. I don't know how you, it's like icy fire or something, or whatever. It's like frosted boomerang. Basically, the elements like fire and ice, your boomerang can actually use your boomerang to transfer those elements elsewhere. So that's gonna be a very, very huge source of the puzzles in this dungeon. So you can use it to light torches, or freeze things, or burn things and whatnot. Which makes it's definitely really interesting. I know the boomerang and Phantom Hourglass focused more on the whole drawing paths for it. And this one focuses actually more on like the elements and like using it to transfer elements, which is a kind of a unique way of using the boomerang. Honestly, I kind of like it. Anyway, so as you can see with the ice and all that, it's really hard to hit the pattern by yourself. So what we need to do actually is we're gonna use our boomerang. We're actually gonna draw the path. As you can see, every time it hits, it'll actually give a little marker like that to show that you actually hit it. So that way you actually know, and you can do the pattern pretty easily like that. And there you go. So the doors open. Thanks to the sound and magic of bells and song and dance. Not really dance, but not really song for that matter either, because it's sort of like, just one note. But anyway, this will demonstrate how we can use fire, we can burn the snow, and we can light all the torches. However, after clearing up the snow, you can kind of see here that there's actually a number system. So you actually have to light them in that order, in one boomerang throw. So just, draw it to one torch, and the other torch, and the other torch, and the other torch. And then you'll be good to go. I like this dungeon. I really do like this dungeon. I think it's pretty clever. It uses the boomerang in some pretty unique ways, and one of the more unique ones is actually coming up here right now, how you can use it. And probably the main use / mechanic of the boomerang for this dungeon. But this is actually the first time we can actually use one of these stones and actually have treasure chests available. So you can pay 20 rubies, and as you can see in the map up there, it'll show where the treasure chests are. You can use your little notepad memo thing to write down both locations, and that way you'll know where all the treasures are that you need to get, and then you can find a way to get them. Usually it's pretty simple though. But anyway, the cool thing about the boomerang, get it cool? I made a pun. You can actually, if you have an ice torch and you're buying ice torch, that doesn't make any sense. This is like the blue fire from like Ocarina of Time, but you can use it to freeze the water underneath it as long as you're on the same level as the water. As in, like, if you go a little higher, if you climb stairs or something like that, you won't be able to do that. But there's also a frozen whirlwind thing there, so we're gonna find a use for that. Luckily, we have a small key, so we're gonna go in this way. And in here, there's going to be, come on, what is it? It's going to be enemies, because there's always rooms of enemies in a dungeon. The nice thing is once we have the boomerang now, whoa. Did not mean to hit you. As I was trying to say before, so rudely interrupted, you can actually use them to unfreeze these things, and it'll turn to just regular Octoroks, and they're pretty easy to kill then. I suppose with your sword, where the ice protects them, and they bounce around and cause havoc. Honestly, this one takes me forever to get, because it's just, ow, no. Well, it didn't take forever, but it's hard to hit moving targets with a boomerang, like the keys and whatnot, because, they do continuously move, so you can't exactly draw a path. You sort of have to predict where they're going, which is sometimes really hard, considering enemies like keys have very sporadic, random movements. But anyways, as you can see, all this room did was, give us a fire torch. We can melt the ice here, and then we can use this ice to make ourselves a path and use a whirlwind. So already, even with just 2 items, we're already using interesting sort of puzzles involving both of them, and having used them in tandem in order to solve things, which is it's pretty neat. Anyway, now that we have the boomerang, we actually have an easier way to fight these annoying enemies right here, which is, well, you can also just stun them. You can stun them with a boomerang, you can stun them with that as well, and then you can use the ice and just draw a path over there, and that's a lot easier than now to hit them with our sword. You don't have to wait for them to blow their thing. Although, honestly, the blowing, I hate ice sometimes. Ice physics. Ice physics is horrible, and Link just kind of got stuck there for a little bit. But honestly, sometimes if you're patient, just blowing is almost kind of more useful than using the boomerang and stunning them. A, because it's easier just to stand there and it's a definite kill. As opposed to the boomerang, where you have to sort of maneuver the ice and sort of do a bunch of things at once. It's kind of complicated and kind of annoying sometimes. I'm gonna try to kill this guy. Yeah, it's not gonna be too bad. I mean, it's quicker to do with the boomerang, but not necessarily as easy. Like this one right here, I should have at least, I could have just used the whirlwind easier, but he goes underwater. Now, here I do a really big mistake, which is I accidentally freeze the location where he's supposed to spawn out of, thinking that he would come up before the boomerang would reach him, which he didn't. So now I actually kind of have to sit here and wait, unfortunately, for him to, the ice to melt, because the ice, as you can see, does eventually melt. So you can't. That's the other thing about this thing is you can't stay on the ice too long. It will melt under you, and then you have to sort of like just you have to make sure you get on land or refreeze it before it does that. So gotta be careful. Anyway, you can hear he came out now. We're gonna quickly kill him and call it a day. Or I'll just jump in the water because I just can't aim my pathways apparently. Like I said, lots of falling in the water in this level. It's kind of expected. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, probably everyone who's ever played this dungeon's probably fallen in the water like 10 million times. Because, I mean, ice physics plus water, and the whole block thing earlier, which is just really finicky. Add in the fact that, touchscreen controls aren't exactly the most precise kind of controls, and it's not tricky. It's not an easy experience, per se. Anyways, you can see another room just full of torches here, and freaking fire keys. I could just use my whirlwind, but you can also just kill him with your boomerang like this, or like this. Can I kill him with a boomerang, please? As you can see, I just sort of make sporadic paths, because then usually it'll hit them at some point. So just make like crazy paths like your boomerang like that. Use the max length of the boomerang you can. God damn you, fire keys, go away. There we go. And then they'll be pretty easy to kill. As you can see though, this actually is, well, it looks like a musical little path for the bells. And we have a lower bell up here, as you can see. So that's going to be our path, low, middle, middle, high, middle. That'll be the final bell path. But first we need to get this bell over to the other end, to the main section of the room. As you can see this time, we actually need to create a path for the bell to go across the water with, using the frozen water. So it's getting more clever. It's definitely getting more clever. Although the puzzles in this dungeon are pretty nice, actually. I do approve of them. What I don't approve of, though, is being an idiot and hitting the wall with my boomerang. But it happens a lot, so we'll just have to deal with it, and that'll be fine. Anyway, that switch opened up the door. I'll jump in the water again like an idiot, and now I'll just make a... Nope, come on. This is not so hard, Lucky. This is not so hard. There we go. Anyway, we need to get this bell to the lower section because, as you can see, the ice path is down there. So, first we need to get the bell down here. Kind of tricky to do without... well, how do you go about doing this thing? Oh, you push it up here, and then over here, and then down here. That's how you do it, that's right. And then you just push it around like this way. And you can see how it's going to work from here. So before we push it to the right, we don't push it in the water, that'd be bad. Oh, god damn it! Ice physics, I hate you, ice physics. The one bad thing about this level is just annoying ice physics. Anyway, we need to make a path. Yes, I can say path very well. A path. Oh, come on, there's a little hole there. Alright, this is gonna work, that's gonna work. Okay, now we gotta push the bell across it like this, and that's going to be pretty much it for the puzzle. Well, there's actually another big thing of water down here, so we're not quite done yet. We actually have to light this ice torch. Once again, icy fire doesn't really make any bit of sense, but that's okay. And if you light both torches like this, actually, a treasure chest will appear. So we'll go back up there and get that in just a little bit. But first, we need to make a path across here. As you can see, there's multiple steps to this path here, so we actually need to be kind of clever. Actually, I need some... Okay, let's get more ice here, because I need some room to get over here. There we go, that'll work. And that's going to be it for the puzzle. Well, kind of. Just need to do a couple more pushes. There we go. There we go. And there we go. So now we have our 3 bells. The song was lower, middle, middle, high, middle. So there's our path, and that's actually it for the bells, which is... I guess we're a little bit over halfway down the dungeon. No, we're more than halfway down the dungeon. We're like 2/3 of the way down the dungeon. I'd say that. Anyway, I decided just to kill this guy by sword just for shits and giggles, and then I roll into him like an idiot, and then he starts killing me. This is why you should not use your sword against these guys, but I was like, what the hell. And then I'm like, screw this noise, I'm just gonna open this treasure chest. But eventually if you hit him enough, I'm trying to just... Luckily, your shield does help you fight these guys a bit. I'm trying to use my boomerang that doesn't really do much, but it does knock him like that at least. And as you can see, eventually he will go down after several hits. It takes like 4 or 5, which is just an obscene amount of hits. Just really, if you have a torch, use your boomerang, or just knock him into the water if you can. Or just ignore him, because you really did not need to fight that one. So that's probably a good idea to do that. No more treasures, or no more hidden treasure on this floor. I think actually we have all the treasures in this level, I think, if I remember correctly. Anyway, first of all, I'll head down here. As you can see, there's another one of those boss key things. So I think there's one every dungeon before the dungeon boss. So it's kind of like their unique take on the nightmare key, which it's a different way of doing it, and I kind of like it, but at the same time, it's also kind of weird. We're gonna hit that ice Julu, and this is gonna be a little basically memorize this pattern of ice and fire, because over in the left-hand room of this floor over here, over here. There's you actually have to replicate that pattern that we saw. So it's 3 ice here, and then hit the fire torch, and 3 fire here. And yes, you do have to do it all in one boomerang thing. Like I said, the boomerang is a very, very useful tool. You tend to use it. It's maybe my second favorite item in this game. I think it's my second favorite item. We'll see my favorite one soon enough, actually. But oh no, not wolves. Hey, that was pretty epic. Spin attack to the face. That's right, wolves. Spin attack to the face. I will give you a spin attack, and you will die. Anyway, I'm actually dealing with the wolves pretty decently this time. I got this one cornered. He does manage to escape, but not for long, because now he's dead. You wolves, you can't fight me. You can't fight me. I'm sick of your wolfiness. These wolves are definitely annoying. I like the wolves in like the 3D games. Like those ones are fun to fight, but these ones are just like they dodge and they like just pounce on you. Although it's nice that they actually have competent enemies in this game, I suppose. Anyway, once again, ice physics dick me over, and I fall into a pit, but that's okay. We're gonna hit this switch, and now we just need to get the key. Well, we know how to get faraway keys. We've done this quite a few times already. I don't think your boomerang will work. If your boomerang would work, you could get it a lot easier than this, but you just use your 1-1, knock it over there, and go back this way, pick it up, and you'll be good to go. Luckily for us, there's none of those creepy floor masters this time. At least I think there's not, unless you just try to head up or something. Maybe they show up there, but I doubt it. Really, I mean, you just have a key, you're just gonna walk it over here. It's not, I mean, occasionally there'll be those annoying floor masters, they're quite common, but not this time. This time we are spared their wrath, and that's always a good thing. So here we are, 16 minutes in, and it's time for the dungeon boss. Well, it's time for the room before the dungeon boss. As you can see, you can get warp to the entrance. I'm actually going to take this warp, just to show that you can actually go here and use it, and then come back, and it won't affect anything. You can actually just, I mean, this is a good place, I guess, to save the game, because if you save here, you'll be able to instantly warp back to the dungeon boss. So if you need to save before the boss, or you're worried about the boss, then just save now. I mean, in general, the bosses aren't really hard enough where you're gonna die, especially if you get all the heart containers by this point, but, you know, sometimes they can be tricky. Anyway, if you need some health, you actually use your boomerang. Luckily, the boomerang can grab items, as you guys probably know. I mean, it's usually how it works in Zelda games. But in case you need anything, ooh, you see what I see? You see what I see? I see a wood heart. You got a Dooku nut? Or a wood heart, same thing. Anyways, I guess this is going to be a running joke with the wood hearts that they look like Dooku nuts. I miss Dooku nuts. Dooku nuts in this game would be awesome. I never really appreciated how awesome Dooku nuts were until Ocarina of Time 3D, though, because they're just, I never really used them until then. Then I'm like, oh my god, these items are actually pretty awesome. But that has nothing to do at all with Fraaz, Master of Icy Fire, who is going to be our boss today. No double screen here, although you're going to use the top screen in a little bit to help fight him. He's actually very similar to the boss from Phantom Hourglass that uses the boomerang, but since I haven't played that game, I can't really reference that. Anyway, if you see him using an ice attack, use the fire from the torch there to basically extinguish him, and it'll leave him vulnerable to be attacked. So then make sure you get a couple of swipes into him, and eventually he'll go down and turn to 2 different forms. One's an ice one, and one's a fire one. As you can see on the top screen, you can tell which one it is. Obviously, the blue's ice and the red's fire. So in one fell swoop, you can down both of them using the torches. You know, fire obviously is ice's weakness, and ice is ice is weak to fire, and fire is weak to ice. How fire is weak to ice, I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. I mean, you just melt the ice, you think, but whatever. Anyway, this guy gets smart. He breaks our torches. You vandal! You vandal! That's a horrible thing. But what you need to actually do is use his own attacks now to fight him. Kind of like Twin Rover, actually. He's almost kind of reminds me of Twin Rover, you know, with the 2 witches and the fire and the ice having to use their powers against each other. Also, be sure you hit him more than once with the boomerang, you know. Drag it over there and sort of circle it around a few times so you can hit him multiple times, because it might take more than one hit to fully extinguish him. So you want to make sure you do that. So he uses his fire spell, guys, and that's his ice spell if he finishes it off. Now here, I try to get clever here. I'm gonna show something off. If you actually hit him with the full effect of his, if you hit him with the same element that he's channeling, you'll actually fully charge him, which is not a good idea. As you can see, it did take me a hit to just be clever like that, but whatever. I'll just take a hit to try to show things off. I mean, this isn't take them all on challenge where we have to fight him and keep our hearts intact. You know, I may as well just go ahead and just show as much as I can off now while I'm not, you know, under heart pressure or whatever the hell that means. Anyway, once again, we can use their attacks to kill them, so make sure you get into a good spot with this fire and ice available, and then just hit them. It's pretty simple and easy. Kind of clever that he uses attacks against them like that. Like I said, it gives you sort of a Twin Robo vibe, except, you know, it's not nearly as annoying as Twin Robo was, because, you know, having to reflect your attacks with the shield was kind of annoying. This one, the boomerang, it has such a nice control. It always goes where you want to go, so it's kind of nice. Anyway, I think it hit him 3 times this time with the boomerang, so just circle around him a few times and then slash his face in. That's right, boy. I am not scared of your icy fire. I will fire your ice and I will ice your fire. Even though that still doesn't make any bit of sense. Also, he's shooting a bunch of fireballs at us. Run! Run for your life, Leg. Run for your life. But luckily we were successful in doing that. So, oh crap, I hit the wall. It's the only downside of the boomerang. If you hit the wall, it just completely negates it. It's like, god damn it. Anyway, this one I just like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna hit him with the ice and speed him up like this. But he just keeps using ice. He's apparently wising up. He's like, hey, if I started channeling fire, he's gonna hurt me. Maybe I should, well, then he gets stupid again. Well, Fraaz, you had a moment of brilliance there, and then you ruined it. And now you're dead for that. So, congratulations, you fat pig thing. What the hell is that thing supposed to be anyway? Is he a pig? He's like a bat pig bat. Like, he has like the ears of a bat, but then he's like the snout of a pig, and it doesn't make any sense. He's Fraaz. He's special. Not that kind of special. Whatever. Anyways, we beat the boss. We beat Fraaz. Or how do you pronounce? Is that how you pronounce it? Frazzle, my dazzle, shenazzle. I don't know. What the hell am I even talking about? I mean, what do you talk about during these scenes? I mean, we've seen this before. The thing's gonna open up, and we're gonna have a new part of the Tower of Spirits, and blah blah blah. Spoilers, but not really. You've seen this already. You guys kind of expect this. I mean, I guess one of the downsides of the game is it is very repetitive. I guess, you know, like I've said a few times. You know, Tower of Spirits, whatever section of the Sanctuary. You know, making the Locomo duet, boss, new Tower of Spirits, repeat, rinse, repeat, whatever. But there we have it. The energy from the temple is going to shoot across the tracks because it's apparently what it does. And it will go all the way through the Tower of Spirits. As you can see, it is creating new tracks as it goes. So we will once again have new tracks as we after this. Usually once you beat a dungeon, it just gives you tracks that lead to the Tower of Spirits. Although you didn't really need one for the Forest Temple because obviously, I mean, there were already tracks there. But now we'll actually have a way to access the Tower of Spirits from the Snow Realm, which also means the Tower of Spirits is a good hub to access any of the realms that we end up going to once you beat each realm. So always keep that in mind. But there we go. That's one and no more section of the Tower of Spirits complete. As you can see, there's like 2 or 3, or there's 2 sections more left. Yeah. So we'll have to go ahead and do that. You could have been frozen stiff. I was frozen stiff. Were you not paying attention? He hit me. He froze me. But that's okay, because thanks to the magic of stylus rubbing, I was set free. Even though that makes no sense whatsoever. I never understood how, like, heroes in video games can be unfrozen just by like that. Like, oh, well, my body heat, my rubbing back and forth will somehow unfreeze me. And, of course, I can't go to a recording session without my phone interrupting. But that's okay, because we have a heart container. And I don't really care, you know, that'll be the music symbolizing the heart container. You know, the blah 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 blah. That's just silliness, but whatever. Kind of a long episode, but that's okay, because we got Dungeon 2 done in one episode. That's pretty snazzy. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take the train, and in the next episode we head back to the Tower of Spirits after we take care of a few things, like a bunch of different things actually. So this is LuckySevenDX signing out. I will see you guys later for more Spirit Tracks. Stay tuned, and I hope you enjoyed this dungeon. Goodbye, guys.